Did your parents know about this?
Yeah.
Did this raise any red flags that their child is already writing stories about a mass murderer? I think some parents might be a little concerned about what this child may grow up to become.
No, but it did at school because
Oh my God.
Welcome to Millennial, the home of pretend adulting and real talk. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
I'm once again wearing my childless dog ladies tee because I dropped off my ballot on Saturday, y'all.
Oh, did you wear the shirt? Or
No. Oh, God,
Okay.
No. I hate confrontation. We know this. I don't want anybody to know what party I'm affiliated with. I was very demure. I walked in. I walked out. I was done. There were a lot of people. So here in Nevada, everybody automatically gets sent a mail-in ballot. Love it. Don't have to worry about it. It just shows up in my mailbox one day. Love that. But I like dropping it off at a ballot box just because I trust the USPS, but I want part of the voting experience, the traditional voting experience. So I like going to the ballot box. A lot of people were lined up to do the traditional voting through the voting machines, which surprises me. I guess there's a trust concern there with the mail-in ballots. I don't know, but I don't get why so many people want to wait in line a good half hour, maybe longer, to vote when you could just fill out the ballot in the comfort of your own home and then drop it off.
I do think that a lot of people are not used to mail-in ballots. I've had mail-in ballots almost as long as I've been registered to vote at this point.
Yeah.
But I know that it's a new thing for a lot of people. So I just think that like new is scary and yeah, everybody wants to make sure that their vote counts, especially this time around, which is, it's nice to see because there have been other elections where people haven't cared. But I really just think it's the hesitancy towards the newness for certain regions.
What's y'all's status with voting?
I dropped mine off yesterday.
Oh, great.
I also dropped mine off day of, like you, Andrew. I like going to my little polling place. It's at the senior community center. You just say hi to the seniors.
Yeah. Oh,
they gave me my
Pam,
I voted
it's
sticker.
Good to see you. I've been listening to your podcasts.
That's exactly what they say.
Oh, she's like a little celebrity in our precinct. I just love this. No, good. That's great. So we're all done. That means they're going to stop texting us now, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I think I've just gotten like 5 today.
It's only just begun because you know how many fucking lawsuits there are going to be across this country on and after Election Day. We're going to be getting pummeled looking for donations to support these efforts. So,
yeah, true.
It's not going to end. It's never going to end.
You're right. Oh, by the way, you two. So my husband, Bruce Springsteen, is going to be campaigning with Obama and Kamala in Georgia and Pennsylvania. And not certain yet, but possibly in Nevada and other swing states too. And you can bet your bottom dollar that if he's coming to Nevada with Obama and Kamala, I will be first in line for that event. I will get there as early as needed to be first.
How many days will you camp out in advance?
I'll do a solid 12 hours at least. A days, I don't know, but I'll do 12 hours.
12 hours, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I will clear my whole day for this. And it would be amazing. I'm not getting my hopes up just yet because Bay is in the middle of touring right now too. So it might be tricky to schedule some other events, but we'll see. Jimmy Carter cast his vote for Kamala. That was really sweet to see. Yeah. He had told his family that he wanted to live long enough to vote for Kamala. Like he really said that to them, which is super sweet.
Well, yeah, he's 100 and he's been in hospice care for months now.
I think it's like a year and a half at this point. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Jimmy Carter is like a modern Marvel. Like the guy just, I don't know. He just won't pass. And, I love that for him.
He had a purpose this time, right? Like,
yes.
He did what Ruth Bader Ginsburg wanted to do, and she failed. I mean, who knows when you're going to go. No, but you know what I mean? Like, she was holding out, and she held out too long.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to go.
That was the thing. But God, there was so much hubbub. I don't know if y'all caught this in your news cycles, but there was a lot of hubbub about like, well, what if Jimmy Carter casts his vote and then he dies? Should his vote still count?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. This became like a whole controversy in right-wing media, and they started looking into like what various states' policies were. And, shock and awe, like most states don't have any kind of policy one way or another about it. And it's also like, I mean, I don't know, like if I do something when I'm still alive and then I die, it doesn't suddenly mean I didn't do the thing.
And I think it's a very safe bet to assume that there are a lot of elderly people on the left and right who are casting their ballots and then unfortunately passing before election day. It's just how it goes.
Right.
Well, anyway, I thought we should highlight some of the items that are on ballots across the country this election cycle besides the presidential race. First of all, anything on our own ballots that stands out to us or maybe that we're excited about. Nevada has open primaries and ranked choice voting on the ballot this year. I did vote yes for this. This would allow all voters, regardless of party, to participate in primary elections. Nonpartisan voters are actually the largest voting bloc in Nevada, so that could shake things up a lot. And then on the ranked choice voting side, this allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference. I think we may have talked about this years ago. And votes get reallocated if no candidate wins majority. And the benefit here is that individuals can vote for their favorite candidates without fear of wasting their votes. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know which way it's gonna go here.
I feel like ranked choice tends to perform pretty well where it gets put on the ballot. So I wouldn't be surprised if that passed. I'm actually kind of surprised that Nevada doesn't already have open primaries. Georgia has open primaries. Like you don't have to have a party affiliation here to take part. So I think that'll be great too, because a lot of people don't want to register.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Right. One of my friends here actually isn't registered one way or the other. I will say one reason I'm not optimistic it's going to pass is we're getting a lot of mailings about voting no on 3. Republicans and Democrats both hate it. As one of my friends pointed out, they shared with me this comment from somebody on Reddit who was like, if both the right and the left hate it, it's a good thing. So hopefully we'll end up passing, but there's a lot of pushback from both sides.
Just to be clear, the pushback is about open primaries? Or about ranked choice? Okay.
Well, so they're both under one.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it, amendment or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just yes on 3 or no on 3. This is item 3 on the ballot measure 3. Let's call it. So yeah, they're wrapped up in one thing.
I see.
And there's just a big fat no going out to a lot of people's mailboxes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I understand why Republicans would be against it, but I don't get why Democrats would be against this.
Even our own Democratic senator. I mean, she's saying no. I know. I was confused too, but whatever.
Well, she's wrong.
Thank you. Well, what's on y'all's ballots that stand out?
To be honest, nothing all that exciting statewide in Georgia. I think I imagine it'll all probably pass. So we have 2 proposed state amendments and 1 referendum. So one of the state amendments is about essentially locking in your property taxes along with your homestead exemption, basically to prevent people from paying increased property taxes year over year.
Well, that's good.
No, I actually voted no on that because we all know how this goes. You reduce taxes in one place, you're going to increase them in another. So honestly, I view that as some smoke and mirrors bullshit to just make people think they're saving money and end up increasing prices to fund schools and communities elsewhere. So I was a no on that one. Our other proposed amendment would be to elevate our state's tax court to the superior court levels so that it could hear, many of the more advanced tax cases in the state currently, because the tax court is not at the superior court level of the state. All tax cases are having to go through Fulton County Superior Court, which is hearing all kinds of cases that take higher priority. So a lot of those tax cases end up sitting there for a long time and not getting the attention and like the right attention from tax lawyers that they need. So I was a yes on that one. And we had just a statewide referendum around increasing personal property tax deductions from like $7,500 to $20,000, which I voted yes on. It'll primarily advantage small businesses in getting the supplies that they need to, run operations. So I think they're all going to pass. But I was a no on the first one.
Standing out to you, Pam, on your ballot.
We have a couple of affordable housing things out here in California on the ballot. The big one is Proposition 33, which is the rent control ballot measure. So if this passes, basically what it would do is it would repeal a state law known as the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act, and that prevents local governments from controlling rent on single-family homes built after 1995 or sometimes earlier. And then like specifically when tenants move out. So if it passes, then basically local governments could create whatever measures they want to limit annual rent increases, and the state can't intervene. So this is one that has, like, again, like some of the ones you all have described have had people coming out on both sides for and against. It's hotly debated. I haven't filled out my official ballot yet. I like to fill out like the practice one as I go through and read through all of the proposition information and make the best decision that I can. So I can't say which way I'll be voting one way or the other, because I'd like to read up on this one a little bit more. Like Laura, sometimes these things like seem too good to be true, but they don't actually like really work in everyone's favor. So.
Well, some other ballot measures I noticed across the country. Colorado voters will decide whether to ban trophy hunting of mountain lions, bobcats, and lynxes. Public school advocates in Nebraska qualified a measure that would repeal a law allowing taxpayer money to be used for private school tuition. In Utah, the Republican-led state legislature placed a measure on this November's ballot that would give them the power to amend or even revoke initiatives once voters have approved them. Blech. 3 states, California, Colorado, and Hawaii, are voting on whether to remove dormant language from their state constitutions that limit marriage to a man and a woman. And by the way, in Nevada and California also, we are voting to get language around slavery removed from our state's constitutions. It's like, this is just happening now? The abortion stuff I could understand, but just now we're getting around to the slavery language? Took so long.
Yeah, it just takes people some time to get used to the new status quo, right?
Okay, fine.
Honestly, like 100 years from now, they're going to be talking about like, oh, like all 50 states are going to be like, I guess we should like take that shit out about abortion.
Yeah, right.
Just government bureaucracy slows everything down.
5 states, Arkansas, Florida, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota, will vote on whether to legalize marijuana or further loosen restrictions. And it's not just Nevada who is debating ranked choice voting. Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, D.C. all have proposals that would implement ranked choice voting. The measures in Colorado, Idaho, and here in Nevada would also replace partisan primaries with open contests, like I mentioned. And then in Alaska, one of 2 states that currently uses ranked choice voting, they'll decide whether to repeal the system as well as the state's top 4 open primaries. Missouri's ballot, too, will contain a measure that would explicitly ban ranked choice voting. And then 2 other states, Arizona and Montana, will vote on proposals that may eventually lead to the use of ranked choice voting in some form. So it's up in the air across the country.
Yeah. I have to think, and I don't know much about like Alaska or Missouri politics, but I have to imagine those are Republican-led efforts to kill ranked choice voting.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe we can talk about it more at length in a future episode, especially after seeing what happens here, because it seems like a growing trend, or at least there's attempts to spread it across the country, but it's taking a while and there's a bunch of resistance. All right, well, that's enough politics for now. Don't forget to go out and vote, everybody. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're just going to relax and talk about Halloween. So we'll be right back.
All right, y'all. You ready to get spooky?
Yes.
I'm ready to get spooky.
Pam brought her fall. I just want to say real quick. Sorry. She's wearing like a nice orange sweater.
I'm tempting the cooler weather. It's time.
I know.
Nice rusty colors.
But you've also got your little pumpkins back there.
I'm tempting the cooler weather. I'm telling you.
So cute.
Yes.
Well, I was really pleased to see while I was out last week. And I came back and saw all of the wonderful work y'all put into prepping this week's episode, that we have a Halloween theme segment. And y'all were like, Laura, I think you should lead this. And this made me so happy because I'm like, oh, this is like where I live. This is so natural to me. This is going to be fun.
Well, we were like, how can we best lure Laura back?
Right. It's like we need our spooky queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to lure me back from the beach. Honestly, two things that I love quite a lot, Halloween and the beach. But the inspiration for this was actually found by Pam. And there was this really great TikTok about 90s Halloween nostalgia. And this really hit for me watching this video, going over all the things that we know and love when we were kids, whether it was stuff we saw on Nickelodeon or things that we frequently came across at like the store, or, with like the kids' toys that came with your Happy Meal or Burger King, wherever you were going. There was just so much packed into it that was a really great couple of moments to reminisce on. And I thought, to get us started, we could talk about our own relationships to Halloween and spooky season more greatly. I also pulled a few comments from the TikTok that we can read over.
My favorite memories are definitely walking around the neighborhood to trick or treat at various neighborhoods that we knew would be handing out good candy. It was just so fun to travel together after dark with your friends, and the parents, they were there to make sure you were okay and safe, but they also kept their distance while trick or treating. So it kind of felt like you were going out for the night with your friends. And it was just always so fun to see all the other kids' Halloween costumes too. Some of my favorite memories are, my mom used to like making our own costumes for a few years. So
Aww,
I used to be really into Thomas the Tank Engine. So she made a great Thomas the Tank Engine costume for me. She must still have it at home. There's no way she threw it out. It was pretty damn intricate. Yeah, that's the one that always sticks with me in particular. And yeah, it's not one of my favorite holidays, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not the person who's like, it's PSL season, it's spooky season. I'm more into Christmas. But Halloween, these days, I do enjoy handing out candy to the kids. So that's the enjoyment I think I get out of it at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Andrew. I'm not the biggest Halloween fan. I think it's because like when you get older, it becomes less about like the cutesy stuff and more about like, let's go get scared. I'm not a big like scare person. I'm like honestly a big scaredy cat. So I just feel like there's like not a lot of Halloween for me as an adult, because if you're going out with friends, they all want to do like the scare mazes, and those are big in LA anyway. Like everybody wants to do Halloween Horror Nights, Not Scary Farm. The first time I actually went to Not Scary Farm, I didn't realize that it was scare mazes, and my friend felt really bad because she just didn't know that, like, because I had asked her, I said, is it really scary? And she goes, no. And I was like, oh, of course, not Scary Farm. That sounds wholesome. I didn't realize it was not with like a KN. Anyway, so, but yeah, like as a kid, like loved trick-or-treating, loved going to the pumpkin patch. We grew up like within walkable distance of this amazing pumpkin patch that had like all the, do you guys remember when they used to have like the wooden cutouts? And you could take pictures and stuff like that with like, it was just like such a treat to go and like pick out the pumpkin and bring it home and carve it. And like our school always did they used to host a party for like kids and families called the Monster Mash, of course. And so it was fun because you could go there and they had like all the like the Halloweeny activities, like bobbing for apples and also pumpkin carving and stuff like that. So like that and just going trick-or-treating, like Andrew said, was always like so much fun. But yeah, as I've gotten older, it hasn't like, it's not really like my favorite holiday, but I do like passing out candy to the kids. That's really sweet.
It sounds like you're more of a Gilmore Girls fall type of girly than like a Laura Halloween spooky season type of
pretty
girly.
much. It's just like, it's not Halloween, it's fall.
It's fall.
Yeah.
As your sweater.
Exactly.
Your sweater is emblematic of the type of season you enjoy this time of year.
For sure.
Pretty much.
I actually did go pumpkin picking a couple years ago, and I've done it for the last 3 years. And they have those cutouts, Pam, that you stick your head through. It's great.
Yeah,
if you ever want that again, I'm sure you could find it up there, but come on down here. Fresh apple cider donuts.
Apple picking. I want like the fall. I don't want necessarily the Halloween.
Yeah, I get that.
And see, it's too bad that there's such an emphasis, because I agree with you. I think the larger emphasis on Halloween is placed around the being scared stuff and the creepy stuff. But a lot of Halloween culture is also like very campy. There are so many things that you can enjoy this time of year, like going either to like, a screening of or a theatrical production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show is always a ton of fun. There are campy Halloween movies like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice wasn't a Halloween movie. It was released in March, but I think when people are thinking about Halloween movies, a movie like Beetlejuice tends to fall in there. So there's like a lot of whimsy and campiness that comes with it. Like I'm thinking of Hocus Pocus, for example.
Yes.
So there is a lot of like wholesome fun that comes with Halloween. I'm thinking about like when people have parties and they might have someone there reading tarot cards or doing fortunes, like there's a lot of kitschy fun to be had with it too. And I think that our culture forgets about that and like overly focuses on the creepy shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like the scariest I want to go is, like Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town.
Hocus, yeah.
And that's it. And Halloween Town.
I might actually argue that those spooky mazes are camp. I love those too. I don't go to them here as often as I would like. I used to more back when I was in LA. But I just have a smile from ear to ear when I'm going through those mazes. I'm not scared a bit, and I understand why some people might. But to me, that is just entertainment. I'm just having a blast in these things. Because they can't hurt you. They might come out with a chainsaw, but
like you have those people that are just like really jumpy when they hear like a loud noise. That's me.
Yeah.
Like if so, it's so I don't think that I do well in those because I'm gonna jump, and then they see that you jump and they're like, oh, let's just get that person.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do focus on the person who looks most scared.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Is mean. There should be like a little thing you can wear that's like go easy on me or something.
Yeah, and even if I go like if I go like with Andrew, I think like a couple times you're like, let's go to Halloween Horror Nights, and I was like, let's not. But like even if I went to something like that with you, like they also will target you if you're holding somebody too. Mm-hmm. Like if you're holding someone's hand or you're like linked with arms, they're like, oh, this person's scared. Like they're gonna.
Yeah.
So like I know they're not actually gonna like kill me, but I also like it's loud noises. I just can't do it.
You want to know the fucked up thing? So I will say, and this will probably give both of you heart palpitations, so I apologize for this. So New York City has some of the best haunted houses. They are so, so good. I went to one my first year living there. And going in, they gave us an option where they were like, so this is very interactive. If you don't want to be touched, like if you don't want the actors to make physical contact with you, let us know. And if you don't care about that, then we'll draw like a red X on your forehead so they know that they can interact with you.
Oh but my gosh.
If you don't have one on your forehead, they know not to. I don't like being touched by strangers, even though I love creepy shit. So I was very much like, yeah, no, I don't want to be touched. So don't draw that on my forehead. Everyone else in my party got the red X's drawn on their foreheads. Guess who the actors decided to fuck with the entire time? The one girl who didn't have an X on her forehead. I got fucked with so badly through that whole thing. I was a good sport about it, but I hated it.
That's not fair.
That's how it always happens.
Right.
So, Laura, you're going to have to come out to Vegas when this new year-round Universal Horror Unleashed experience opens next year. 110,000 square feet of horror-themed attractions. It's going to be interesting to see how it does in Vegas, because typically these are only around spooky season, but this one is going to be year-round. So once this opens, and hopefully they'll have locals pricing, and I'll go off season for cheaper pricing. I don't care. I'll finally start getting my fun, spooky thrills here, only 20 minutes away.
Yeah, I have to come out for that. That sounds like a blast. I think it'll do well because so many people are into that.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably just be another tourist attraction for y'all out there. So good for Vegas.
Yeah.
Laura, we kind of both had a question for you, but I wanted to know, and I'm sure some people will be interested in finding out the answer to this too. When did you first fall in love with horror and murder? Because we know that, like, out of the three of us, you're kind of like the super fan and you enjoy those things.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of murder.
You knew it.
I love murder.
To be honest, it all kind of started with a fascination with the paranormal. So when I was a kid, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, I thought I saw a ghost as a kid. Like, I was definitely younger than 10, older than 5. So somewhere in that 5-year span, thought I saw a ghost, got really into like spooky ghost stories and stuff. And just like, instead of being repelled from the idea of the paranormal, I thought it was so fascinating. I really always loved scary movies from when I was a little kid. And my mom in particular read a lot of Stephen King and still does. So I started reading some Stephen King when I was younger. And I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. I actually wrote my first like long story as a kid called The Mass Murderer. Oh. No shit. That was the title. It was 100 pages long. I was so proud of it.
Wow.
I was like 10 years old, typed it up on my Blueberry iMac.
That's fun. Okay. Wait a second. Did your parents know about this?
Yeah.
Did this raise any red flags that their child is already writing stories about a mass murderer? I think some parents might be a little concerned about what this child may grow up to become.
No, but it did at school. Because oh my God. Because there was one time, not my mass murderer story. There was another time where we were given free time in class to just do whatever we wanted. And so I wrote like a little short story about this kid going to summer camp. And his summer camp was haunted, of course, because why would I be writing a story about anything else? And the first like section of the story ended with him seeing the ghost of a lady with a dagger in her chest, like rising out of the lake. Okay. And didn't know about this at the time, but my 4th grade teacher called my mom and was like, did you know about this? Is everything okay? And my mom was just like, oh yeah, we read a lot of Stephen King in this house. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it. But I have to think that if I did that today, it would be an entirely different ball of wax. Like, there would be a lot more concerned around it.
Yeah, like as a child today?
Yeah.
You're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm thinking like if I knew my nephews were writing a story like this, or if I had a child and they were writing a story like that, I'd be like, maybe I should just ask them really quick. Like, I'm not going to escalate it to the school counselor or something, but I'd be like, hey, little Laura, what inspired you to write this? And you don't have access to my gun cabinet, do you?
I like creepy shit. What can I say? I think, and you know, it's so funny because we're going to be talking about scary movies on this week's episode of What the Hype. So this segment is also perfectly timed for that. I will say, I feel like the the sort of like nugget of truth that you are intended to carry forward from horror, scary movies, gothic novels, whatever, is that it's all a social commentary. It's not at its heart about the slasher syndrome. It's not about the creepy ghosts. It's not about the jump scares. It's about the social commentary and what the movie is saying about the society we live in. It's literally holding up a mirror to show us the perversions of the world that we live in.
That makes sense.
That's what I think is most fascinating about spooky stuff and why I keep coming back to it.
Because I like zombie stuff. Like I like, The Walking Dead. I was a big fan of that before it jumped the shark. Really have been enjoying The Last of Us. Like there's so many also like kind of more like psychological thrillers, I guess, that you see out in the theaters. Like Contagion is probably not a great one to watch in the shadow of COVID, but that was great when it came out. And so I can do stuff like that. But as soon as it gets to be like slashery stuff like that, it's just like I don't want to do it. But but you're right. That's a really good comparison. Like to just for that to be a touchstone for kind of everything, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Andrew, are you convinced by this reasoning? I think I've won over Pam.
So you want me to stop thinking that you're such a violent person and it's about the message. No, I get it. And I know you said this isn't the point, the jump scares, but I think just like how I love the spooky walkthroughs, I do love maybe a campy or a more serious attempt at being a true scary movie because of that same excitement you get in the theater. I don't mind the jump scares too much. I think that's part of the fun. And I think that's the fun for a lot of people. The thing is, there are some also really, really bad scary movies. I saw one last year. I can't remember what it was in theaters, but it was just awful.
Yes, there are a lot of really bad scary movies. And I think the worst scary movies are the ones that rely solely on the tropes like jump scares. For example, if all your movie has is jump scares, it's not a good movie. But taking it back to Halloween, I know we talked a little bit about favorite costumes already, but I'm wondering, what was our actual favorite part of trick-or-treating? There are the components of it where it's like, yeah, you're getting the candy, but there's also like the fun of getting to see other people in costumes or see the way people have their houses decorated.
Yeah, I think it was just getting to stay up late, sometimes on a school night. And we would always go as a neighborhood of kids. And then maybe 2 or 3 moms would come. So anybody that wanted to, it was always at least my mom. And then we had a neighbor across the street and she would, with 2 daughters, and she would always come. So at least there would be 2 of them. But it was like anybody else from the neighborhood. We lived kind of on a cul-de-sac. Like if you want, and my mom used to have this van when we were growing up, like everybody would just jump in the van, all the kids, and we would just drive, maybe a mile or 2 over to the big trick or treat street. And we would park and get off. And like Andrew was saying, they would let us run a couple houses ahead, and the big kids would kind of take care of the little kids. And then the moms would be bringing up the rear to make sure nobody got left behind. And so, yeah, it just kind of felt like you got to do something special.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something special. I like the point about the school night too, because it was very rare to go out on a school night and to do anything. And it's just this big communal experience that everybody was participating in. And then, of course, all the damn candy. I mean, we would just dump all of our candy at the end of the night into bowls, and we'd be picking on it for weeks. It was amazing.
Did our parents inspect our candy before we were allowed to eat it? Mine did.
Yeah. I think they kind of watched from a distance too. I'm not sure, they went and looked at it to make sure it was still sealed, but I think they were keeping an eye on it as we enjoyed it, especially that first night. And then maybe privately later in the night, they sorted through the candy to make sure all of it was still sealed. I would definitely do that if I was a parent. I'd be...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of parents will also tell their kids, hey, if anything looks opened, put it aside or throw it out, or let me take a look at it first.
That's what my mom used to do, because we would get home past 10, and so it's too late to actually have candy. And so then the next day when we would dump out the candy on the living room floor, she would just be like, sitting around and having us like sort through it. It's like anything that looks open, like toss it, and then like if we thought something was like maybe open, maybe not, we would just be like, hey mom, what do you think about this? And she'd be like, toss it. My stepmom, on the other hand, I think she was pretty much just looking through the candy so she could like get her stash of chocolate. That was like her parent tax.
My parents did that too.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever like if Halloween fell on a like a week when my dad had us, then she would definitely take advantage of looking through all the candy to get the best pieces.
Even if my parents told me to be careful, I clearly learned nothing, because these days I just walk in hotel hallways and pull bread off of
Maybe
somebody's
that's the result of all the candy they
room
told you to
service
toss
tray.
out.
I know, I'm rebelling.
Does Heidi know you do that?
No.
Would you ever do that in front of Heidi?
Yeah, I would do it in front of Heidi. I don't care.
Okay, well, Chloe, clip this for social. Let's put it up so
yeah, exactly.
she can find out.
She'll see it.
Yeah.
She'll be visiting in a couple weeks. I'll just take her to a hotel on the Strip. I'll book us a room, and I'll grab some bread off somebody's
Mom, are you
used
ready
room
for
service
dinner?
tray.
And then just take her down the hall.
I would not give her food from the food tray. Just for myself. The Strip's expensive. You got to save $1 somehow.
Any other hallmarks of 90s Halloween and spooky culture that give us nostalgia? I know we talked about a couple of the ones that were present in the video that inspired this conversation. One that occurs to me is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Especially the Are You Afraid of the Dark intro. Like the intro of all the creepy...
The original series, that was scary.
Yes.
It was really scary. I remember when that would come on, like it would, like sometimes we would watch and it was like spine tingling. The remake was not as scary.
No. I feel like so many of the reboots of 90s stuff just don't really hit the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think I very much associate those McDonald's Halloween buckets with Halloween season. And lo and behold, this year, actually, McDonald's is bringing the Boo buckets back.
Oh, love.
It started actually just last week. They replaced the classic Happy Meal box as long as supplies last. So if you want to get one of those buckets, you can. And I also noticed this year that Dunkin' Donuts, if you get like a box of Munchkins, they are doing something very similar too. So I think McDonald's and Dunkin' are tapping into that millennial nostalgia. Those buckets were so fun as a kid. They're colorful, they're cute, just good memories associated with those. So yeah, that's what stands out to me most, I think. Like the fast food related Halloween promotions.
No, I'm with you. That was like I remember my grandma used to take us just to get the buckets for Halloween every year. And so it was kind of like a part of the tradition for a while when we were younger. And then obviously then you get older and you're like, I just want to take a pillowcase. So you graduate to pillowcases because you can fit more candy in there. And so.
Did you both use pillowcases?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't
ever
a pillowcase?
I don't think so. I've heard of people doing that, but I think I just used a big reusable bag of some sort.
Oh, no. Well, we were all about the pillowcases.
I guess I missed out.
Well, like you would use like an older pillowcase that your parents didn't care if it got messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that was the point.
I think didn't Charlie Brown and friends use pillowcases?
Maybe.
You know what? And that just jogged a memory for me. Speaking of childhood nostalgia, we always watched the Charlie Brown Halloween.
Pumpkin.
Yes, the Great Pumpkin.
That was so good. Yeah.
My dad always made it a point to turn on that and the Christmas one too.
Mm-hmm.
Those were great.
No Titanic though.
No Titanic. Nope, that is not allowed. Yeah, Shane's pointing out, too bad there might be E. coli in your McDonald's bucket this year. Yeah, so this was just announced today by the CDC. There was an E. coli outbreak in Quarter Pounders at McDonald's. 1 person died so far and 49 people seriously ill. So Quarter Pounders are being pulled from 4 states for the time being while it's being investigated.
What's Trump going to do? Doesn't he love Quarter Pounders?
I know. That's why he was working there last weekend.
Say
he was
E. coli
investigating.
is a hoax and keep eating the Quarter Pounders.
It's just amazing that happened right after he, quote unquote, worked at McDonald's on Sunday. Like, the timing of that is incredible. I don't believe in a God, but that makes me question things. That timing is too perfect.
Well, we need to step away for just a moment here before we get on with our discussion so that Andrew can go find some
E. coli?
hotel room service leftovers. We'll be right back. Are we hosting trick-or-treaters this year?
Yeah, baby. I got the full-size candy bars. Just one box this year. They didn't have both types on sale at Costco this year. And then I got a big Costco bag of the fruity type candy and then the Reese's peanut butter, pumpkin-shaped peanut butter cups. So
you're expecting quite a bit of trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, my stature has risen here in the last few years. I'm known as the full-sized candy bar man. Wait, hold for edit.
That's not how you want the kids to know you.
Bad. No, there's a lot of kids around here.
Okay.
And yeah, I anticipate a lot of kids for a couple hours. So, while supplies last.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So I live near quite a few schools. There's at least 3 within less than a mile of me. And so initially, when I first moved out here, there were a lot of trick-or-treaters, but ever since COVID hit, it's dwindled a lot. And the only thing I can think of is that it's a result of the rise of the trunk-or-treating, And so like most parents would prefer to take their kids to the trunk or treat and then call it a day. So we still get some, but not as many. Like the first few years, we would go through like 2 big bags of candy from Costco.
Yeah.
So I'll be downsizing the candy amount that I pick up this weekend because then like I don't want to have it in the house after.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's
I know.
the other thing too, because I don't eat it. Like I won't eat all of it, but I'll definitely eat through like the Reese's pieces. I don't need to do that.
And then the last couple of years, we've, Pat and I have enjoyed Halloween night by enjoying some of the candy that we're supposed to be handing out. It's part of the fun. Treat yourself. But yeah, it's too tempting. I need that all out of the house. I have enough temptation in the house during a normal week.
Do you ever get to the point, Andrew, where you haven't handed out enough candy and you start giving out like 2 full-size bars to try and get it gone?
No child is getting 2 full-size bars. Those are too valuable. But the smaller stuff I'll hand out.
I've definitely dumped the rest of the candy in the last person I want to serve.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that kid's always so happy.
Oh, that's sweet. Little bonus. Yeah. I try to focus on the kids I recognize in the neighborhood to make sure my direct neighborhood gets the full size first, and then the other people can, grab the smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you think trunk or treat events have risen? Just COVID or?
Well, I feel like they popularized around then. I wouldn't really know because I'm not a parent, and like my immediate friend circle also doesn't have kids. But I assume that like parents probably think it's safer and it's less stressful because you take your kids to like one event and that's it. And usually it's on the weekend, so you can plan for it a little bit better. You don't have to go after work or anything like that.
That's true. I think the ease of it must be a big plus.
Yeah.
You drive to it, you walk around the parking lot. And for kids of a certain age, that's more than enough for them. They're thrilled.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have felt robbed as a kid if that was my trick-or-treating experience, because it is just so fun to go out. When you're younger, you should definitely go with your parents, but you do reach an age where you could go with a group of friends, and I always just thought that was so much fun. I don't think trunk-or-treating is the same thing. And I actually feel like trunk-or-treating started even before COVID, because I don't get any trick-or-treaters here. The first year I lived here, I bought so much candy because I fully expected to get trick-or-treaters, and I didn't get anyone. I've never gotten a single trick-or-treater here. I live in the Atlanta perimeter. Like, it's not like I'm out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Well, come visit me and Andrew. You'll get some.
Yeah. But honestly, like, I even, last Halloween, I was actually with a friend, and, she lives in, a pretty populous neighborhood that has a lot of kids in it. And they got like 2 trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. So do they also think it's the trunk-or-treaters?
I think
the trunk-or-treats?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, it just seems like it's just not a thing for kids like it was for us back then.
I'm picturing Laura standing at her doorstep being like, please, somebody come take the candy. Who wants the candy?
It is sad because you think about how listen, like, I think it's a false sense of security to think that the world was safer in the 90s. Like, probably not. We just didn't live with like fear being like directly push notification to us through our phones every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I understand why, parents like might buy into the fact that it's safer to just like go to like a sanctioned trunk or treat by like a church or a school, because they can like control that it's safe. But yeah, it's too bad that it's coming at the detriment of like doing fun. I still remember like some people, like when we were younger, people would still hand out like homemade treats.
Yeah.
So in some houses, and like that would be a big no these days.
Yeah, you could not do that now, which I understand.
I get that. Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, but I think it was just like with like the neighborhoods we were going to, like we like they were right by the school. We're familiar with them, and so if somebody handed out caramel apples or Rice Krispie treats, my mom was always like, "Oh, that's fine."
Yeah, 100%.
That's so and so's neighbor. What are they?
Well, and they used to hand out alcohol to the adults,
to the parents.
They would like hand them a beer.
They still did that.
Cool.
But a couple times when the Giants have been in the World Series, that always happens around this time of year, that we've taken like the littles trick-or-treating, and everyone's like, what's the score? Like, what's going on? Yeah. It's like a communal thing. It's like, have a beer, stay for an inning.
We're keeping the spirit of Halloween and trick-or-treating alive in our hearts, even if it's not happening in our communities. But to wrap us up, and since we're talking about candy, I figured this would be a good question. What's the worst Halloween candy?
Almond Joys.
Really?
I'm sorry, Kamala.
I love Almond Joy. You don't like
I just don't like coconut. I don't like coconut anything.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I see those, I'm just like, ew. But also, and this one will be more controversial, I don't like Skittles. I don't like anything fruity. I need chocolatey, really peanut buttery.
So I guess mine is related to that. I don't like dots. Like, because they're fruity, but then also they always get stuck in your teeth. And if I'm going to get something stuck in my teeth, I want it to be Milk Duds.
Yeah.
Also, like, dots, honestly, there's no flavor payoff there.
And
the
you
flavor
always get like, you always only ever get like the yellow and the green, which like nobody ever wants that anyway. Yeah. So worst dots for me. Yeah.
And nerds too. Those things are tiny. Those can get stuck in your teeth, I think. Also, Shane is pointing out the house with raisins. That's always the worst house.
Oh, yeah. There's always one. Or
I don't know.
Slices.
What about the ones that give out toothpaste and baby toothbrushes?
Anything healthy, go fuck yourself. This is not what the night is about, okay? You're not being smart or clever or helpful. Let the parents deal with the cavities.
Always loved a colorful pencil, though. That was fun. Or like erasers. We had a house near my old elementary school that would give out stuffed animals every year. And that was like, because the house to go to. And then every year we would come back and be like, what stuffed animal did you get? It was like a talking point amongst
What
kids.
were the sizes of these stuffed animals?
All different sizes, all different kinds. Wow. And there's even, I mean, I don't even know if they still live there anymore. Next time I'm in my hometown, I'll drive by and see. But like, they even had like, there used to be a pole like right near their house with like a stuffed teddy bear that they had put on the top of the pole. So like it was, that was the house to go to.
Man, I never had anything cool like that. There was always like at least one person giving out mini Bibles.
What? Oh, that is so
Atlanta.
So south.
Yeah, so Georgia.
That's so south.
Definitely not Atlanta, but for sure the South, for sure. But it was only like, it was never a ton of people. It was just like I think the one house that like wanted to like make a point because they would only hand out mini Bibles and no candy. I was like, can you at least give me some candy with that mini Bible? Like, I don't think
Right.
Jesus would approve of this.
Again, that's what you're there for. You're not there
Right.
for Bibles or toothpaste or anything like that. It's all about the candy.
Yeah. Well, there is some candy that sucks. And for me, like my two least favorites, I think the suckiest Halloween candy. First of all, circus peanuts. Do y'all remember those? The orange peanuts that tasted.
I don't think I have ever put one of those in my mouth. What does it
me neither.
actually taste like? Is it marshmallow?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what it is. It's basically styrofoam. It's disgusting. And then black licorice.
Yeah, awful. I don't like black licorice either.
Who hands that out? Kids don't want that.
Yeah, nobody wants. That's old people candy. Come on.
Yeah.
Google is defining the circus peanut as a marshmallow candy. No. I look at those. I'm like, that's a chewy fake peanut.
Yeah,
there's no
it does
point.
Look like the texture would be like tougher than a normal marshmallow. Okay.
Looks like styrofoam to me.
Yes. Honestly, the texture is like styrofoam.
Snail Song is bringing up candy corn. They say it's garbage. Candy corn's very divisive.
Yes, it is.
I like a piece or two here and there.
I do too.
Because it's so sweet. Yeah, but I don't hate it like with a fiery passion like some people.
I think the thing is, it's not the kind of candy that you can sit around and just eat. Like, anytime I would get those little packages of candy corn, I couldn't eat the whole one in one sitting.
Yeah.
Like, you have to eat it over the course of like a week.
Better as I feel like it's better as a garnish too.
Yeah.
Like, you can put it on top of a cup, like one on a cupcake as a little treat.
Yeah.
Or like maybe sprinkle some on some popcorn if you're hosting.
Oh, that's a cute idea, Pam.
Yeah.
It is.
I love that. Well, Andrew, I expect a full report on how many of those full-size candy bars you give out.
Oh, it's the Costco box of what, 30 or so, I guess it is. They'll go for sure. I'll save one or two.
Neighborhood kids.
Well, minus one or two, because I'm going to have to take one of the Hershey with almond bars for myself. I really like those.
Well, yeah, quality control.
I
gotta make sure that there's no razor blades in there.
Yeah,
right.
That way you can tell the parents, you can assure them, hey, I've already tested this. No razor blades, no nails. You're all good.
It's the one with the full-size Hershey's, Reese's, Hershey's with almonds, and then Kit Kat. Kit Kat, I could take it or leave it. But all right, sounds good. Well, coming up in After Dark this week, we're actually going to continue this food discussion. What inspired it was the story that went viral concerning a certain cake from Whole Foods that was pulled from shelves, and the people who love it rioted. So we'll talk about that because there's it's kind of emblematic of the state of the U.S. economy. So we'll talk about that. But then we're also going to talk about other food items that have disappeared from stores and restaurants, grocery stores, that we wish would be brought back. So today's episode of Millennials heavy on a craving theme. That'll be available at patreon.com/millennial and also through the Mega Millennial feed on Apple Podcasts. Both of those get you ad-free access to Millennial every week as well. Plus, speaking of audio content, we are releasing 2 episodes of Smart Mouths from the archive each month. We got a lot of great feedback about episode 1, and the next episode that we release from the archive will be released in another week. They're going to be released about every other week.
Other Patreon benefits include recording studio access, monthly variety shows, access to our planning meetings, and much more. It's easy to get started. Apple Podcasts and Patreon offer 7-day free trials and annual subscription discounts.
Time for recommendations. What do you got for us, Laura?
So I'm a fan of Ali Wong, and I wanted to recommend her stand-up special on Netflix, Single Lady. It is so good. It's the special that she did this year, which is a couple of years after she went through her divorce. And it is all about her experience, like living as, a divorced mom of 2. And it is so funny. I think I think she's hilarious. I've loved all of her stand-up bits, and I think this is another one that's worth checking out.
I want to recommend the new Mario Party game that was just released for Nintendo Switch. It's called Mario Party Jamboree. This is already being considered maybe the best Mario Party ever. Has more mini games than any game previously. It's got 7 maps, which is great for a Mario Party. They added many new elements to the game that I think longtime fans are really going to appreciate. For example, there is this new Pro Rules mode that I think will cause the end of some friendships. Like, friendships will end because of the new Pro Rules mode. It sets out to replace as many luck-based events as possible with more tactics that make it feel like a highly competitive tabletop game. For example, item shops will have limited stock, so you have to buy the items before they're gone. The singular bonus star category will be revealed before the match starts, so you can start playing to try and get that bonus star from the beginning. Rather than minigames being determined at random, all 4 players vote between 3 choices to select which game is played. And there's many more different changes in this Pro Rules mode. So they really thought through this Mario Party. I've played it once so far. Already very impressed by it. They made a lot of updates to the UI as well, which I appreciate because the Mario Party UI has kind of gotten a little stale. So definitely check it out if you're a Mario Party fan. This is a really good one.
And I wanted to recommend Agatha All Along on Disney Plus, which I'm surprised we haven't talked about. Maybe it's because you guys aren't enjoying it as much as I am, but I feel like it kind of hits a lot of the boxes that we were talking about in terms of like campy Halloween. So if you want something that's like not super scary, but leans more towards the camp aspect of the horror spooky genre, I would highly recommend checking this out. Stars Catherine Hahn, who, of course, starred as Agatha in WandaVision, which came out a few years ago. Also, Joe Locke from Heartstopper, the queen herself, Patti LuPone, and so many other people. I've also been like struggling with Marvel TV fatigue for a while, but this one I was pleasantly surprised by. So I would highly recommend checking it out. It's a good time of the year to do so right now.
+1. It's really, really good.
I think there's going to be a What the Hype episode on that, too.
There is.
Yeah. So that's why we haven't spoken about it here. So, pals, make sure you're following the show in your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And we would love a review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And don't forget that we're now releasing full video episodes on YouTube.
To stay in touch with us, email millennialshow@gmail.com or visit millennialshow.com. While there, you'll also find all the links to our various social media channels, so please do give us a follow. Spotify users can also leave feedback directly within an episode.
After Dark starts in a moment for patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.